Is it out of the question that if somehow with this large cast, because there's a lot of people on the Valley, if the storyline stalled and they needed some drama, is it out of the question that they would call Sheena up and have her do an appearance and pay her per episode? No, I mean, all things are possible. It's not like she's been banned from Bravo, but she's certainly in a timeout. She doesn't have a contract. I do kind of feel bad for her. I know, but, you know, she does give us a lot, and we are every week talking about her, whether it's on here or across social media content. We're seeing Sheena all over the place. Welcome to Cocktails and Gossip, the podcast where we drink cocktails, but you better believe we're going to spill the tea. We chat reality TV, celebrity blinds, and the hottest tea from BravoCocktails.com. And as always, it's all alleged and just for fun. We do not verify our blinds. I'm B.
And I'm Amanda. Let's get into this week's tea.
What's up, cocktailers? Hello, Amanda.
Hi, B. Hi, cocktailers. So before we get into our usual gossiping today, we wanted to ask you guys a quick favor. Whether you guys are listening to the ad-free version of the pod because you're a cocktailer, or if you're listening to ad-supported, we would love to get your review on the podcast. I have noticed our reviews, like, they're not going down in like stars, but we haven't been getting them as many. And I was playing around with how you review podcasts, and they've made it a lot harder. I was just hoping you guys could all leave us a review. It would be very much appreciated. So I'm going to tell you really quickly to go in Apple Podcasts. You
do it right now, guys.
Yeah.
Stop, pull over.
You have to search for our podcast, and then on the show page, so not on an episode page, you scroll down past everything to the ratings and reviews section, and then tap write a review, and you can either give us a star rating or write a review as well. Spotify is a little harder, although if you guys go in there and look, you'll laugh because there's one guy who is our super fan in that he loves to listen to us every week and say mean things.
Really?
Oh my God, it's entertaining. He's our biggest fan.
I love him.
So
well, we still get that ad rev whether you love it or hate it. So keep clicking.
We do. And that's what his mean things are, that we run ads on our podcast and that we charge people to become part of Cocktail Party. And that's what he's really angry about.
So
anyway,
you should go find as good a product somewhere for free.
He's yeah. But I mean, I just always say to him, thank you for so faithfully listening to us every single week. So on Spotify, you actually have to start the show.
I just want to say, I think Cocktail Party is the best bargain because I subscribe to people I like to listen to, so I don't have to fast forward the ads, number one. And number two, yes, I'm going to do a little ad for Cocktail Party. You get so much. You're getting a Discord channel. Every day, if you like to chat, like old school, we used to have message boards and stuff, you get that with a huge group of really cool people who are our cocktailers, and then me and Amanda Avi. You get an extra pod every week of like juicy stuff that we don't talk about on the pod that we may never post to our website at all. You're only hearing it there. We get posts. We just had a post. We posted this summer about Shep traveling around with Whitney doing some Anthony Bourdain type show. Guess what? Variety just posted about the show. Cocktailers knew about this mid-July. Like, we have the freaking scoop.
Yeah.
And we've proven it time and time again. Wife swap. I mean, Scandival. Lindsay and Carl's breakup. I could go on and on. J-Lo and freaking Madison LaCroix from back then. I could go on and on. And so, first month, $5, code MyTreat. Every month after that is $7.50. If you love us and you want to do it annually, it's $80 for an annual subscription, which is $10 less than paying per month. And you get not just an extra pod, not just the website with no ads, not just the extra posts. You get a Discord channel. You get a Zoom. And the coolest part is you get the cocktail community, which isn't even us. It's all of our thousands of Bravo experts who follow and share and do this with us. Yesterday, I had a girl who's freaking makeup artist canceled on her in San Francisco. I shout out to the cocktailers. The woman had a dozen
It was for her wedding.
For her wedding. And thank you, cocktailers. Like, we are a community. We are not, if you don't want a community, if you don't want a little place to belong where there's like-minded people and you have a lot of fun, then please don't join. But if you do, it's the best. And it's $7.50 a month. I spent that this morning on my coffee at Starbucks. Just saying.
And I'm part of Patreons that I very much enjoy that really just have an extra podcast every week, and that's it. For the one I'm thinking of that I think is a great value is $8 a month. So anyway, guys, thank you. Sorry we had to get to business. I'm sure our biggest fan is going to have something to say about this, but please do leave us a review, or if you can't figure out, share our show on social media. Okay, so the Bravocon. Yeah.
So we are certainly going to get into what was announced and the different panels. There's time for that. And we have so much tea this week that when it gets closer, we will weigh in on what we think the best panels to go to are. I want to quickly touch on, Amanda, the stuff that we didn't see on the lineup.
Yeah.
Because we know that stuff is happening that was not on there. As an example, Rhode Island will be introduced. Will that be a Watch What Happens Live? Probably. Not listed on the official lineup. There's nothing for Orange County. It's their 20th season. My opinion, they're going to do that big. Maybe a Watch What Happens Live. OG's coming back. They're definitely going to be celebrating the flagship 20th season. New Jersey was not up there. We know there's going to be some announcement with Jersey. So these were the three things that were glaring. I'm sure there's many others that you guys noticed. Roni, I don't know if they're going to get it together in time. We see that Erin, Jessel, and Sai are on paddles. I've been hearing some really interesting stuff that I am only at liberty to share later.
Yeah.
So we'll do that.
See,
I don't read negative reviews because I hate to have a chip on my shoulder. But my thing is, now that you had to bring it up, my thing about it is you don't have to like it, but it just comes off so salty. There are things I don't like that I don't pay attention to. But when people pay so much attention to something and then claim they don't like it, it's like, I don't like that kind of haterade.
Yeah.
There are things I don't get and I don't relate to and I don't vibe with, but I don't every week log on and do it. So just for that, now we're keeping shit for Cocktail Party this week that I was going to talk about. Because you know what? Fuck you too.
Oh, well, buddy, you know who you are, because what the other funny thing is on the reviews now, because for a long time, I'm just thank you for being such a great fan and such a loyal listener every week. And now other cocktailers are talking about that guy and replying to his reviews. Why is it they're like,
I can go and reply to him.
I'm not going to show you how to do that. I'm scared what you're going to say.
I'm just always scared that I'll isolate myself, but I don't care.
No, it's not that. I just think you'll have
Don't come for me unless I send for you.
Exactly. And that's where I'm maybe we shouldn't show her how to look.
If Amanda doesn't show me, I'll never figure it out. So that's the good thing.
Okay. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about Bravocon as we get closer. Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman. I am really dying to quickly talk about this. I have a question I want to ask you first. So 19 years, I didn't realize it was that long, but that makes sense because they have a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old. And, we've heard for a while, they seem to be pretty down to earth and pretty solid. So were you surprised about this?
I was surprised. I, too, didn't realize 19 years. But yeah, I just feel and we often get cocktailers who bump into them and see them. And I don't share every sighting, especially when it's not Bravo. But yeah. And then TMZ worded it in a very interesting way because they basically said that Nicole wanted to work on the marriage and Keith didn't. Mm-hmm. So it was not an amicable joint statement. It was seemingly put out by her. So when I reposted TMZ's article, I immediately got a DM from somebody. And this is a cocktail exclusive. I'm only kidding, guys. I'm still going to share the juicy stuff. From somebody who knows. Okay, so this person knows the band. Okay. And they sent me a public video. So this is a video of Keith and his guitar player, side backup singer, what have you. It is from 2 days prior to the announcement. And in the video, it's, I don't want to sing, but what if I hurt you? That song. And he sings to this beautiful 20-something backup singer guitar player who joined the band in the spring. I'll be your guitar player. Maggie, her name's Maggie, I'll be your guitar player as the hook of the song.
And it originally was like, I'll fight for you or I'll be your fighter, which was, the song was originally written for Nicole, and he changed the line.
So that 2 days before the announcement, to me, okay, so this girl made the video public, his side singer. At the time, she had 163,000 followers. After we posted, I'm sure she has a lot more. But she wrote, "Oh my God, did he just say that?" And then, I mean, you just need to scroll her account to see the chemistry and the very obvious public flirting between them. And the person, more than one person actually reached out to us, especially after our blind. And they were like, it is weird. Both people that know the band and people that are big fans, they're like, it is very weird because this girl, not to take away from her talent, but it isn't like, she's not Mariah Carey. She's not the most talented musician in the entire world. So people were finding it odd that he was highlighting her in such an intense way since the spring.
Yeah.
This video being posted and that line to me is what made Nicole be like, this shit is going to get out and I'm not going to have egg on my face. Allegedly, guys, this is all allegedly.
Yeah.
These are wealthy people. We got to be careful. But literally, you guys are incredible. Immediately, we had the scoop. I wasn't even able to write the post fast enough.
Yeah. And our Nashville sources, Nashville's a pretty small town, and our Nashville sources, we have a few, but they're very well connected. So
next day, she officially filed for divorce.
Yeah. Can you imagine being married to arguably the most beautiful woman in the world, and that's somehow still not enough? So you allegedly cheat on her. People make no sense. I was going to say men make no sense, but people make no sense.
Yeah, because women do it as well. So some stuff like just digging around that I think most people know, but worth sharing if you don't really follow Keith. His history, he has addiction and cheating in his history. He went to the Betty Ford about a month after they were married, and part of their 19-year union is hinged on him being sober. As a matter of fact, there was something like a prenup or a stipulation in their prenup that said that if he remained sober and they split, he got close to $1 million every year they were married. So it add up to like $17 million. I don't know how cheating factors in if it's proven that he was cheating, but apparently they've been living apart in Nashville since this summer. It is hard to deal with a loved one who has substance addiction issues. Nicole lost her mom this summer, and Keith was very open about his addiction struggles. I am not sure if addiction plays a part, if he relapsed and he was cheating, if it's just a flirtation with this young, beautiful backup singer or what it is. But all signs lead to the fact that something was fishy with that situation and the backup singer.
Yeah, it was pretty unusual for the statement to first come out saying they're separated and that she didn't want that. I was like, ooh, okay. Yep. It's, you can pretty much guess what has happened. So
and that could also be her attorney getting ready to be like, listen, he may not have been back on drugs, but he was cheating. So imagine if because he wasn't on drugs and it was just cheating, if that wasn't a stipulation, imagine she still has to pay him. Meanwhile, he's shacked up with some 20-something in his band.
It grosses me out. Okay, let's move on to Bravo because we got to talk about Sheena because there's been a lot of Sheena chat this week. Almost immediately after we finished recording last week, you got intel that you posted that was exclusive to Bravo and Cocktails that Sheena was not filming at all for The Valley Season 3.
So we had said on last week's pod, right before we got this intel, as a matter of fact, when we got offline, that's why I like to check my messages sometimes, while we're recording Cocktail Pod. But then I get distracted. She hadn't been at many events. So we kind of knew that she was filming in a somewhat limited we assumed, that she was filming in a limited capacity, whereas Schwartz and Lala, they'd been at all the events. And we even said, Sheena wasn't there, but the caption mentioned her fruit platter.
Yeah.
For the sip and see with Kristen and Nia's new babes. So essentially, her book tour didn't do her any favors. The content of her memoir, she threw production under the bus. Some of the stuff she was saying on tour put the network in an unfavorable light. She also spoke bad about Lisa Vanderpump. And Lisa Vanderpump is a silent but executive producer at the Valley. So all of the signs are pointed to the fact that this is why she currently has no contract. Miss I Hold a Grudge Vanderpump, I would not expect there not to be repercussions. Is it out of the question that if somehow with this large cast, because there's a lot of people on the Valley, if the storyline stalled and they needed some drama, is it out of the question that they would call Sheena up and have her do an appearance and pay her per episode? No, I mean, all things are possible. It's not like she's been banned from Bravo, but she's certainly in a timeout. She doesn't have a contract. I do kind of feel bad for her. I know. But, she does give us a lot, and we are every week talking about her, whether it's on here or across social media content. We're seeing Sheena all over the place. What are your thoughts on her not filming?
Cocktailers, you guys know that B and I both love Nutrafol, but I actually thought you might be interested to hear that I had my own skepticism about trying Nutrafol. Would it really work? Or would it just kind of work? Would it work for me and my body? So I started taking the women's formulation of Nutrafol in January of 2024. Within about 3 months, I started noticing that I had a layer of baby hairs sprouting up all over my head. Like literally for a while, it looked like I had little flyaways kind of sticking out all over my head. Now that new hair is all integrated with all the rest of my hair and looks like a layer that was kind of cut into my hair. And I get compliments about my hair, and I always automatically tell people about Nutrafol. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people. You can feel great about what you're putting into your body since Nutrafol hair growth supplements are backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF Contents certified, the gold standard in third-party certification for supplements. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering cocktailers $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code GOSSIP. Find out why Nutrafol is the #1 most recommended dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement and the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code GOSSIP. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code GOSSIP. So I am surprised, honestly, in that I feel like Sheena's always been kind of strategic behind the scenes, much more strategic than she wants to come off as. And I'm really surprised if she didn't run the book and then the content of her book tour by someone at Bravo or Bravo adjacent, like a production company, to get their opinion.
And I have to tell you something.
What?
Most people, and I don't want to say all, but most people who are current on Bravo give Bravo the last edit. And Sheena did not. It's another cocktail exclusive, guys. Sheena did not.
Interesting. I mean, wow.
I always saw her as a company girl, though. Like, she goes out against other people on her cast, other people in the Bravo world, but she's always been loyal to production, or at least that's how I thought.
I agree.
Yeah.
She's been strategic. I do feel a little bit badly for her. I think maybe it was a bad gamble from her part in that she was trying to make her money off of her book tour and off of her books. And I think that it didn't quite pan out, and that she alienated the network or production or Lisa Vanderpump in the process. It does remind us, and I think it's a good reminder for all of us, is that, we have all learned the hard way that no network reality star is a necessity. We learned that the really hard way with our OGs from New York. And there is no one reality star that the show can't go on without.
And as time goes, we're seeing that more and more.
Yeah.
So this week on Watch What Happens Live, all roads leading to Sheena, we see Andy ask Tamara who she's least looking forward to seeing at Bravocon. And she says Sheena. Andy's like, why Sheena? And she just broadly says, well, she started the whole Gretchen thing. And then Adriana, who was on with Tamara, Adriana from Miami, doubles down and says, I don't want to see Sheena either. She blocked me and Captain Cutie, which is Captain Jason. I think that was like a Bravocon thing.
I'm guessing.
Like, Sheena legitimately inserts herself in every corner of the Bravo world. So Tamara's claim is that Sheena told Kiki about everything and not that Katie told Kiki. Because, we know at this point Tamara has decided to go all in and back Katie. But to be honest, that story has gone so many different directions, I can't really keep up. I think that I do believe that Katie told Kiki because I don't, and I've said this a million times, I don't believe Kiki has a reason to lie. Could Kiki have run it by her friend Sheena after the fact and Sheena been like, yeah, I could see that because Sheena's friends with Gretchen and we know that she's friends with Gretchen. They were just out to dinner. Then Sheena's bad-mouthing Teddy. I do understand that Teddy is still in the arena and she has her podcasts and she gives her feedback. But can we be a little gentle and kind? Sheena, the woman is battling cancer.
Right. I agree. I'm so glad you brought this up, actually, because I'm really confused. I feel like we have a pretty good pulse on what's going on, both on camera and behind the scenes. Because as you mentioned, Kiki flat out denies this. She said, and I quote, Sheena did absolutely nothing. Katie told me. I fact checked with Dave Quinn off the record. Dave Quinn told Tamara. Tamara brought it up on camera. End quote. So if this is true, and I too believe Kiki, why is Sheena also not shutting it down? Why is she playing kind of coy and just letting these stories run away? So something fishy is happening. And the only thing I can think of, and this is not what necessarily is happening, but did Tamara see an opportunity to scapegoat Sheena because Sheena is out of favor, and then it makes a convenient target to take heat off of the way that Tamara and the other women have treated Katie? It feels a little like loose of a theory. I just can't figure out why would we be blaming Sheena. What's the strategy here? Can you think of anything?
Just the fact that Kiki and Sheena are friends. And Sheena is notoriously messy. So whether it happened or not, it's plausible that it happened, right?
And Tamara knows that. Kiki and Sheena are friends, too.
And Sheena gets involved and is messy. So don't forget, Sheena is friends with Gretchen. So Tamara isn't loving her at the moment because Sheena is perceived as Team Gretchen. Gretchen and Tamara are at odds. So it's very easy for Tamara to say, Katie didn't tell her. Sheena told her. Whether it's true or not, people will be like, well, that's certainly possible.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't.
I feel bad for Kiki in all of this because I do believe she's telling the truth. And I think that she's getting lumped up into like unsavory drama. And I don't think it's the best look.
Yeah, I agree. I guess Tamara also said that Sheena and Brock had told her at one point that getting on Real Housewives of Orange County was Sheena's ultimate goal. I had not heard this. Had you?
No, but it makes sense. I mean, clearly she would never be on Beverly Hills. Right. Orange County is much more feasible for her. She could always relocate to that area. We also had intel over the summer that I reposted. We didn't say who it was, but somebody was quietly shopping her home in Palm Springs. So I'm sure you guys and Amanda, you guys have heard of a pocket listing,
right?
Which is my home isn't publicly listed, but I'm a broker. And if I have a buyer in this price range looking for this sort of home, I can show them this listing. And if they like it, we could sell it before it ever hits the market. And that's what I hear is being done with her Palm Springs house, or at least it was in the summer. It absolutely makes sense for her to downsize. Having 2 huge mortgages seems insane because they also her and Brock own a home in the Valley. You know, Sheena creates a lot of trouble for herself, but she also brings a lot of storyline. Here we are again. Do I think she's done at Bravo? No. I do think she's in a timeout, likely sanctioned by Lisa Vanderpump.
Yeah.
She'll be at Bravocon. I'm sure we will see her again, be at the Valley at some point this season or back next season. There'll always be a way for her to wiggle back in.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see about Bravocon depending on how she handles things because don't know if you guys
Still
remember.
3 weeks.
Ramona got pulled last minute from Bravocon. Was it last 2 years ago? Yeah. And I have no doubt that Sheena will find a way to get back on our screens. She's Sheena. She finds a way to stick around. This week, Lala came out on her podcast and called Sheena out. I personally don't feel like this is the way a friend should speak about another friend. So I'm guessing they are now beefing because she said Sheena's never happy. She finds a problem with everything. She says, I love her, but she's mad at me about complete nonsense.
I think that Lala really tried not to speak out about it in hopes that they would smooth it over behind the scenes. I think that Lala likely had sympathy that Sheena was given no contract on the Valley. But at this point, I think that Sheena is probably being impossible to deal with. And Lala was like, I'm just calling her out. Let's not forget, Lala needs content for her podcast. She rebranded. It's Unconventionally Lala, or...
Do we know why? I was wondering.
I don't know, but her brother isn't on it. So I guess, listen, she's not making the check she was making at the end of her Vanderpump Rules run. Again, she's got these two huge mortgages like Sheena. These people have to work.
Yeah.
So I assume it's some sort of financially based reason. Maybe she got a better offer from a new network. She says she's working with new people now. I don't know if the brother wasn't popular with viewers. I don't pay enough attention to specifically know those things.
Yeah.
But I tuned in for the Sheena of it all. And very interestingly, Lala did an interview with Bryce Sandler, and she didn't name Ariana, but she essentially said that over the past year or longer, she has been talking with her sponsor about the last season of Vanderpump and that she carries a lot of guilt for her part in a situation where she should have kept her mouth shut, and that she went in on how somebody else behaved, and we have to assume she's speaking about Ariana. She even admitted that it was hypocritical because if it was her, she would have flipped out if anyone did what she did to her. A lot of you guys are saying, do you think it's sincere? I do. I don't think she has anything to gain by saying it now. She's back on the Valley. She has a gig. Ariana isn't on the show. She doesn't have to film with her. I just think that Lala's processing everything. I do think the distance between her and Sheena has given her a different perspective. It's easy to kind of get mob mentality, right?
Yeah.
When you have one or two friends and you guys are all kind of kikiing and gossiping, you can really start to get momentum on something that then when you take a step back, you're like, wait a minute, like Ariana was heartbroken. This is why she handled it this way. I probably would have done the same thing. She wasn't trying to have us all lose our jobs, but in the heat of it, Lala was scared about losing her check. I mean, I could see both sides, and I do think she's being sincere, that she feels bad about how she handled it. And I hope she gives a call to Ariana, whether it's answered or not. She can leave a nice voicemail.
Yeah, no, I agree. We also have to remember, too, they had a producer in their head telling them that the only way they could save the show was to get Ariana and Tom to talk. So while Lala can have a really sharp tongue, she obviously gets heated quickly. She really does take accountability and shows vulnerability by honestly talking about what she did wrong. I think that's kind of just Lala, which, by the way, the whole Lala and Tom soft launch thing is a complete joke, right?
I think so.
I think so, too.
I think so.
I've been getting questions. People are asking, and I've been seeing it on Discord. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's a joke.
I'm pretty sure.
It's a little bit of a trolling situation. But while we're chatting about the Valley, we had gotten some tea that Lacey, so remember Jesse Lally from the Valley, his girlfriend who didn't want to film, we're hearing she's definitely filming for the Valley season 3. Obviously, there was some back and forth about whether she would do it. So just recently they went on a trip and she joined a day late and has been filming. So it should be interesting to see Jesse, that relationship, and see that dynamic and how all that works.
And it was Lacey's birthday this week, and we saw on Insta that her and Jesse went out with Jasmine's fiance, Zach, his boyfriend. So they were celebrating Lacey's birthday. We can clearly see how the friend groups are kind of divided this season. I'm sure also on their side are Kristen and Luke, Danny and Nia, but they both just had babies, so it makes sense that they may not be at every group dinner, especially since this one wasn't filmed, I don't think. But it seems to me just the optics of it are that side is a lot stronger if we're looking at it from the perspective that the other side is just Janet, Michelle, Brittany. And so Jason's pretty separated from the husbands, which kind of leaves him on an island. I'm sure Schwartz and Lala are in between both groups, so it makes sense that they're filming a lot, right? Because we need those neutral people to get the groups together. Danny and Jesse obviously were not on the best, not Danny and Jesse, I'm sorry. Jesse and Jason and Danny and Jason, like Jason, not that they're all husbands, right? Jesse's not a husband anymore, but I'm just thinking you have Danny, you have Jesse, you have Zach, and then you just have Jason on the other side for the men, right?
I think it'll be really interesting to see how, I think they went into the reunion both kind of feeling like, well, we have our points and we're going to use our lawyer words because those are technically true. I think we need to keep a good eye on Danny because I think Danny will be the one. I'm sorry, Jason. Now I'm getting them confused. I think Jason, Janet's husband, is going to be the person who really tries to bridge because I think he's going to see it for himself too, that he's not, I don't know if Danny's ever going to get there, but I could see Jason and Luke being cool. And Jason and Jasmine used to be really good friends. So I don't feel
Janet is in the way of all those relationships because Janet and Kristen and Janet and Jasmine, I think, could move forward before Janet and Kristen.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. But maybe Kristen, now that she's had a baby, is much more chill. We'll see.
Oh, we had a mom this week.
We must talk about this. So this, guys, is something that
and we technically don't know if this is true yet because it's Thursday before Miami reunion has aired.
But for those of you,
if it's in this part, we don't know if it's in this part.
Right. They might drag it out until the second or third. I don't remember how many reunion episodes we're getting for Miami. But we dropped this in Cocktail Party this week. So the big T is, and if you've seen the previews, you see that Julia brings something up. Adriana gets pissed, denies it, walks away. Everybody's faces look shocked. So what we were told is that allegedly Julia says that during the reunion says that she and Adriana have slept together. And that's about
more than one time on group trips. For Miami, Adriana denies the whole thing. We see her storm the stage. And then apparently, I don't know if it's backstage or once she storms off, but Julia kind of doubles down and says it was more than once. It was on girls' trips to Andy.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. I'm confused. Adriana's mad and denying it, but yet Adriana's the single one. Julia is married to Martina. So I get that she wants to stay on the show and maybe she thought that this would be a way, but she's married. It doesn't make much sense. I would imagine she's going to have to answer as to whether her and Martina have an open marriage. Can you help me make sense of this?
Honestly, I can't. I don't get the feeling that Martina and Julia have an open marriage. I think Martina gets a kick out of the women in the group flirting with her, but I don't get.
So maybe it's not sex. Maybe it's that they fooled around or made out or something.
I think they did. I think we saw like a little bit of them kissing and being handsy. And so it wouldn't surprise me if they messed around when they're drunk. But
unless Adriana went into their marital bed, more of a threesome style, which I don't believe that that's what was said. But again, like the person
I never thought of that. That would be interesting.
And maybe that's why Adriana didn't like it because she didn't want to be involved in a threesome and have people know. And
yeah. Ooh, yeah. I do think Julia will do what she thinks she needs to do to stay on the show as well. So maybe maybe there's a little nugget of truth in there, but that she has grossly over-exaggerated the situation as well. On the topic of Miami, Adriana recently commented on a post about Marisol, and she points out, she started calling me old first. Go back and look at the first episode. And she says, I gave her a taste of her own medicine after the first attack. That she says Marisol's been trying to ice her out of the show by refusing to let her participate in scenes, and that her sabotaging has started since way back. And she says, I'm tired of her acting aggressively towards me. And when I respond, she acts like my response is the issue.
I have such a hard time sometimes when I like a housewife accepting, and believe me, I know, and I've seen Marisol be wrong. The reality is, because I enjoy Marisol very much in many ways, but the reality is she does play a game where she tries to ice people out. I believe the Dr. Nicole story that she said that a private detective was hired to follow around her and Anthony. We have all, with our own eyes, seen her ice out Adriana. I think she was trying to do it to Gertie this season to some extent. I don't appreciate when housewives play producer. That kind of, maybe that's why she's a friend of. She adds a lot to the show, but she also causes a lot of drama behind the scenes, and maybe this is kind of her punishment. I think that over time, it really has worn Adriana down, and I think that Julia going to Marisol and Alexia's side, quote unquote, the popular girl side, affected Adriana in a big way. She was not herself this season. If she wasn't yelling, she seemed sad, almost depressed. And I don't believe it's only about her age, because half the women on the cast are women of a certain age. It's about them icing her out, pushing her off of a show that she started with them. We're seeing her on social media and likely at the reunion fighting back. I just don't know. I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if she has enough of a storyline. She was kind of a drag this season. I sympathize with her.
Yeah.
After all this time, did Marisol and Alexia succeed in making her not really a main player in Miami?
I mean, I definitely think Marisol and Alexia have this little monopoly going, this little gatekeeper thing, and it looks like they think they write their own rules. So they didn't go to Costa del Sol with the rest of the group in Spain. And so I believe it. But I think that they should watch out, because Bravo has been telling us very clearly, in no uncertain terms, nobody is a must-have for this show. Right. So it could really backfire on them, especially if Marisol hiring that undercover detective, if that ends up being the main reason that Nicole doesn't come on the show, and Bravo really wants her, would Bravo retaliate against Marisol? Maybe. I don't know. So we are hearing that Lisa and Jody have not been posting together recently because they are in a rough patch. So a source told us that they're in a very big rough patch, but they are attempting to work through things. So I guess this season was pretty hard on their relationship. The source says Larsa came in with an agenda to target Jody out of anger that he remained friends with Marcus. Sadly, Lisa and Jody's relationship suffered as a result.
So we hear they're together, but they're in counseling. They have not posted in months. I think we're going to see at the reunion Lisa blame Larsa. She feels that she targeted Jody because he decided to remain friendly with Marcus Jordan, Larsa's ex. I do hear Miami is set to film in January, and Jody had a very bad experience, and he's not wanting to film. He doesn't want this kind of stuff out there. He's a professional. Here's my thing. It really pisses me off with these guys. So we saw it with Todd. Now we see it with Jody. So many different men over the cities, the franchises, etc. Yeah. You get into a relationship with these established reality television personality housewives. And these men love it when it's clicks and their businesses are flourishing and all the good parts that come with that kind of fame. But the second somebody says something bad about them, points something out, they're seen in a negative light, they lash out, they take it out on their girlfriend, wife, partner, whatever the status of the relationship is. They don't want to film. They threaten the woman that she has to quit. Hey guys, these shows have been around for 20 years, more. If you don't like it, I have a very simple solution. Don't date reality television stars.
I couldn't agree more, because these men, I think they come in thinking they know everything.
Right.
And that they can control the situation because maybe they're used to doing that in all of their other realms within their life. But I will say, while it did feel like Larsa really went after Jody, and I can understand where Lisa would be upset, I think she has reason to be upset. You know, there's no honor among housewives when it comes to information. So if you don't want something talked about on camera, don't do it off camera in front of another housewife. Take the night off skiing, or don't have too many, don't have too much to drink, or don't say really mean things about another cast member, because you might think you're within trusted circles when you're offline at dinner. It all comes back if you're a housewife. Nothing stays secret.
100%.
Speaking of secret, though, another little tidbit that we shared this week that I think is really interesting. Stephanie, as we know, the finale is Stephanie's Christmas party. At the party, in real time, she got served because Shoma, the company that she works for, is being sued by former employees for illegally withholding tips and wrongful termination. And her husband was not at the party because apparently he knew he would get served.
It's hard to know, because I think that there is some truth to what Lisa Barlow, and I'm sure Stephanie, when she has to address this, will say, which is, once you go on TV, people come out of the woodwork. I do think that there is some truth to it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Yes, you can sue anybody. But whether you're paying your legal counsel, or in most cases, for most, like I know personal injury lawsuits as an example, an attorney doesn't charge you. They take a third of your settlement. So if I'm an attorney, I'm not going to take something where there's nothing there, where there's no chance of winning, because I would just be donating my time, my legal time, right? So there's got to be something there. There's got to be some smoke with this fire. Does it mean the entire company isn't legit? Of course not. Does it mean that maybe there's some shady stuff going on that now they're on TV, we're going to find out about? Sure.
Yeah. And this issue seems like it's a pretty easy case to prove or disprove, especially with how much people pay now with either Apple Pay or credit card. So it's very clear what is tip, what is not.
Right. And if you're doing cash under the table, well, you're not allowed to do that. So you can't claim that in a...
Right. Some more little tidbits for you guys. We've been getting some really great tea. We got an email that said, Ain't That Something Entertainment, which is casting for Beverly Hills and OC, is casting for the elites of Boise, Idaho. With Potomac, Salt Lake, and Rhode Island, Bravo is into casting smaller cities that will surprise audiences.
So... we received intel after we posted this that they are test shooting with a group of women in Boise, Idaho. The source said the group of women, it's true, very conservative women who give everything to God. Okay. Mm-hmm. The hunting wives of it all, guys. But there's more. Somebody sent us an email that said on Wife Swap, Angie K, we're going to see her go to Idaho. Coincidence? Bravo did this on purpose. They casted for Wife Swap, and it led to the Real Housewives of Idaho. So I guess when they were casting for Wife Swap, they stumbled upon women and they were like, cha-ching, these girls would be great to film. So I'm not saying it's the woman that Angie K swaps places with. I'm just saying when they went to Idaho to you know what I mean, to cast.
Yes, they see, what they find, there's these wealthy neighborhoods. They find that there's these women who have these really tight circles who are probably all very attractive. It makes sense to me.
So some Salt Lake City tea. I haven't even made a post about this, and I honestly don't know why I need to. So there's this wealthy woman, Amy. She's the woman who threw that huge party where they went batshit crazy.
Yeah.
She also was at the science fair poster board
clarity lunch.
So
science fair.
$20 million house she lives in. She wasn't just throwing that party. A lot of you guys asked me. She was supposed to be a part of the cast, but I was told kind of vaguely that not everyone can handle filming. And although they wanted her, I don't know if she had a meltdown, couldn't handle it, allegedly, but we're only going to see her in this limited capacity. And it was her choice. Like, I don't know. I don't think we see it. Some sort of meltdown. Well, her house is also currently for sale for $23 million. So is she getting the hell out of Salt Lake altogether? I don't know. I don't know if she's just changing houses. But we do have some tea on how she allegedly met her husband. Would you like to share with the class, Amanda?
Oh, yes. Okay. So picture Amy, blonde, just looking shocked the majority of the lunch, the science fair lunch. So the email says, about the wealthy couple on Salt Lake City. Her husband was the head of sales. Very nice guy. Early days, pre-IPO. She joined him after college and they met there. I
purposely didn't name the company, guys.
Yeah. And they met at work. And then it said everyone was shocked by their affair because he was such a nice, normal guy. She was very much his junior. He has a daughter her age. If memory serves, their affair was outed at President's Club in Hawaii. So President's Club trips are usually a bonus trip that companies give to their top sales employees. That's my little addition. And then it says he also started another company, super successful, plus he IPO'd with our company.
So he was married. So it was an affair because he was married. I don't know if she was. I think it would have been interesting to see her. I'm sure casting. So, you see that the casting now, Instagram keeps posting for a Salt Lake City woman. Listen, they always want to have a backup, but she was supposed to be full time. Back to the drawing board. And so this episode, Angie and Heather are at Heather's house, and Heather is finally honest about Lisa. Yeah. And she says, with all this stuff we're hearing, our friend is either in financial distress or living a lie or under attack. And Angie goes, it's not that I don't feel bad for Lisa, but she acts like she's living the highest life. She's so much better than us. Heather brings up how Lisa actually said, not only does she act like that, but she verbally said, I live a much bigger life than you and the other women. And Heather's like, I'm trying to be a good friend to her, but Lisa just makes it absolutely impossible to defend her. And we touched on this last week. Mm-hmm. I have never had a friend speak to me like that, and I don't think I'd be friends with her very long if she did.
That's my question for you guys who are Lisa Barlow fans. I was watching it with my husband, and he's newer to watching all of these shows, and I just said to him, I was like, I just am getting to the place where I'm really having a hard time understanding. I get why people love Lisa for her delusion, but the people who are like, Lisa Barlow can do no wrong and I just love her, why do you still feel that way? I mean, maybe these people are feeling like, well, we just believe Lisa when she says that all of these have been dismissed and that there's nothing credible and all of that. Because I'm kind of at a loss. How do you feel about that?
I said it. I wouldn't be friends with her for very long. I get that she's good
the people who
TV.
Still love her. Why? I don't get it.
I don't get it. I don't know. They it's like tree huggers, I guess. They like the delusion.
And that part I kind of understand because I do find her enjoyable to watch, but I am not what you would call a Lisa Barlow fan.
And I do think that these first few episodes are an exaggerated version of everything we've seen so far.
That's true.
Yeah.
I do keep wondering
because I did a poll and most people feel how we feel.
Yeah.
While she might be great for the show, and it's not that we're not calling for her to be off the show, but we wouldn't want to be friends with her in real life kind of thing.
Well, and does anybody actually believe her? I would be surprised by that. But maybe people do.
And quickly, do you feel that Meredith backed her up? I don't. I mean, Meredith said a little bit, but she could have backed her up much more.
I think she did enough to check the box. But, at that point when they were having that discussion on the camping trip, there were 5 open lawsuits. So, and
but Meredith could have also said, I defended you as much as I could, but some of it was indefensible, where instead she was just like, I stuck up for her perfectly fine and I went to bat for her. It's like, no, you didn't.
No.
And I don't blame you for not, but no, you didn't.
No, she didn't.
I'm not saying you should have, but don't act like you did once Lisa's in the room.
I agree. And here's my other thing. Oh, and my question for you actually is, do you think Lisa Barlow, now that she and Heather are friends again, sees it as a betrayal for Heather to hang out with Angie? Because
probably.
Okay, so then Heather's kind of doing that on purpose, which makes me think a little bit less of Heather if she's really kind of just doing it to anger Lisa. But I
think there's a feeling from Heather that she wants to be good with the OGs as the cast turns over and new people come in. That's the sense that I get.
Yeah.
She wants to be tight with the OGs to the best of her ability.
Well,
you can even see that where Heather sort of places herself above Bronwyn, not only because of Bronwyn's current drama, but she's not an OG. Heather very much is that, we're the OGs and everyone else, we should stick together. That's how I see Heather's play.
Yeah.
Fight with the newer people.
Yeah, I definitely see that. And that's been a pattern we've seen. So Lisa, this is the other thing about Lisa is I think she does mean girl stuff, especially, we've talked about this, about how she pokes at everybody else, but then like freaks out if anybody brings anything up. Like classic play from the Mean Girl playbook. Lisa has this event where before they go shooting and she only has skeet shooting, she only has a small group of VIPs, Amy, Meredith, Mary, Heather go, and then she invites the rest of the group, but just for lunch. And of course, following this playbook, Lisa makes sure that her group all gets there together after all the other ladies have arrived. So it's clear that the VIPs, or the A team, as Lisa calls them, they were doing something that the rest of the group was not. The rest of the group, as Lisa calls the D team, was not invited to. So I just think that's that kind of stuff. I see it with kids sometimes, and I'm like,
yeah, like really nasty middle school stuff.
Yes, it's just mean. In the room, if you guys haven't seen this episode, it is pure comedy because they walk into where the lunch is, and as B said, it's a science fair. There's big blown up poster boards all over the room. Some of them have pictures of her lawsuit blown up with the word dismiss all over them. And then, strangely, we see a glamour shot of Lisa on one of them. And then pictures of Lisa and her husband. Hilarious, but Lisa definitely kind of lost the plot there.
And she actually says, watch what happens live. Like Bronwyn says, the posters are childish. Mary's confused. She says, I'm confused. I came confused. I'm staying confused. And I'm going to leave here confused.
Yeah.
There's a poster of John and Lisa on the yacht, front row at a Jazz game. And on Watch What Happens Live, she says to Andy, yeah, I showed that because I want them to see that I do big things. So Bronwyn, of course, says like, yeah, they say dismiss because you pay them back. And Lisa answers, dismiss because it's none of your business. Oh, if it's none of my business, why am I here? It's just, it proved nothing. I don't even really understand. Listen, not last episode, the episode before, Amanda did a nice little deep dive into all of the lawsuits. We explained it all. We cited the Cardi B. Cardi B got in that courtroom and paid for legal representation because she could and took the stand and everything. In many cases, there are situations where people just sue for no reason, especially people who have money. And the people will just settle for a small amount because it's like, I don't want to be bothered with legal bills and time and energy. That's not the case with Barlow. She settled them because she had to settle them. Like, yeah, it's
dismissed does not mean it went away, to Bronwyn's point. So speaking of Bronwyn, she is obviously continuing to is not afraid to go up against Lisa, talk about the lawsuits, but it seems like maybe she is greasing the wheels because we know that later in the season, things are going to come out about criminal charges for her. So the case was sealed, which of course, like people can have done. And if you guys will remember, I think we briefly touched on it and we had gotten some info that there was grand larceny, grand theft, identity theft charges against Bronwyn. And we didn't report on it too much because we couldn't find the actual documentation. So we were questioning it. So that is going to be coming up. And she mentioned that on Watch What Happens Live. So here is what grand larceny and grand theft, it means that, let's see here, she was investigated for these felonies, which led to her appearance, delay to her appearance at the cast trip that they took in April of this year. And then she also apparently faced a felony charge for identity theft. So she says it's a sealed case. She says she finds it dark that they're looking into it.
Yeah, but here's my thing. She is the person being charged, and the fact that it's sealed is likely at her request. So
yeah,
her saying it's dark that they're looking into it and they should respect the fact that it's sealed. I don't know the details because it's sealed, but you can't expect it not to be discussed the same way that you discussed Lisa's cases. So again, here comes the housewife hypocrisy. And we have heard a variety of shady things about her past, and we posted them. It's all in Cocktail, guys. I can repost it. You know, there's the lie about the $4 million necklace which seems odd. And, I have this feeling, and I forget if I don't think I put it in the notes, but, I did. Okay, one of you guys said something to me, because on the one hand, I feel like Bronwyn is a very polished, classy lady. And sophisticated, right? She really gives that. And then on the other hand, there's something about her that's just, it doesn't quite sit well. It's almost like when Winona Ryder robbed somebody, like robbed a store, like you're Winona Ryder, you don't need to steal a pair of jeans, but she did because something's a little off there. And one of you guys sent this to me, a cocktailer said, I feel terrible for Bronwyn. Her mother's very condescending to her. And if she'll talk to her that way on camera, can you imagine how she talks to her off camera?
Seriously. I had literally exactly that same thought. And you can just tell like Bronwyn was trying to keep the peace instead of getting mad. And
she seems like a mean old bird.
She's just...
Here's what a cocktailer said. This made so much sense, Amanda.
Okay.
She said, I think this is all someone who went through trauma. It reminds me of Bryn from Roni, Kenya from Atlanta, and Kim from Beverly Hills. Unhealed trauma bleeds out where the essence of them is likable, but behaviors are not. And I don't think we're quite yet to the Bronwyn behaviors, but the grand larceny, unless this is easily explained away, which I don't know how it could be, but it's possible, whatever. There's something with Bronwyn, and I don't know if it's the trauma about Gwen's father not wanting to be involved, being rejected, her own family rejecting her when the baby was born. I don't know what it is, but something about Bronwyn is so likable, and then there's something that doesn't sit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I really like her.
I do too.
And her mom's mean.
Well, and my heart goes out to her because that's got to feel just, she even said, like, I still look for approval from them. And
like, and the way her mom was like, well, you wouldn't, she's like, but see, like, daddy has dementia and he remembers me, obviously, for like stuff I wasn't doing great at that time. But like, now look, mom, like everything in my life is going well. And her mom was like, yeah, well, because of Todd. Like,
his money.
Right. Like, it bothered me so much, and not for anything, but you're living in Bronwyn's home. Todd is paying all your bills, which that conversation between her and Todd was really weird too.
It was.
Like, I don't know. I feel really bad.
He couldn't look at her.
Yes. And like, it's almost like I know he said he's not going to be gruff with her, but like something about the way he is with her is like this, she's looking for approval from him. And then she seems so confident and self-assured in conversation with the women. It is such an odd combination of a personality.
Yeah. I agree, especially the constantly looking and admitting to looking for approval. It definitely, I hate to use the word daddy issues, but it seems similar.
We love you guys. Thank you, as always, for choosing us to listen to. We know there are very many podcasts, and the fact that you choose us week after week. Please leave us a nice review, and if you can figure out how to yell back at that man who's being mean to us on Spotify review, please do.
The other sailors are on it. We got to hold B back, guys.
Yes. And if you've been curious about joining my treat, I think we may run some sort of holiday sale. We're trying to figure it out.
Yep.
We're trying to figure it out. We were going to do a back to school sale and just got busy. And we don't really have to do a sale because our cocktailers love us and don't leave us. But we like to do it because we like new cocktailers, because we like to grow the community.
Yeah.
And thank you again for finding Maria a makeup artist for her wedding. Could you imagine not having freaking makeup artists on your wedding?
It's amazing. And that's awesome that Maria thought to even reach out to you for help, because
yes,
the cocktailer community once again shows up for each other. So that's a happy ending to that story.
GoFundMe, a Clear a Teachers list. In this case, a makeup artist. We got you.
Amazing.
We love you guys. Till next time.
Bye.
What's up, cocktailers? We want to thank you, as always, for listening to Cocktails and Gossip. Because of you, we've hit some amazing milestones, had some hilarious conversations, and have grown a truly amazing community. If you haven't already followed our podcast, hit the follow button in the top right of your Apple Podcast player, the follow button under the show logo on Spotify, or the subscribe button on Google Podcasts. We thrive on you, our audience. So make sure to tell all your gossip-loving friends about us too. And if you want to get all the tea, join our membership cocktail party by going to bravoconcocktails.com/join. Our members get access to the exclusive tea we post, the weekly podcast without ads, plus another additional bonus podcast every week. And of course, members also get to join us on our monthly live cocktail party Zoom, where we talk about the latest tea and even share tea that's just too hot to put in writing. Last, but maybe best, our members get access to the Cocktail Party Discord, where you can chat with Amanda, me, and all of the other cocktailers as well. There are always some great combos and hilarious comments happening in Discord. Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate you.